is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. What I'm looking at today is 2020's Porno, directed by Keola Raisla. And this is a really good movie. To begin, I should say that I tend to avoid movies that wear their themes openly on their shoulders, as opposed to putting the theme in a context where it's not quite so obvious. I don't tend to like movies that do that. And that's not to say there aren't exceptions, because there are plenty. But on the whole, I avoid movies that do that because they become oftentimes very preachy and pedantic. And that's not something I enjoy. Though Porno doesn't do that, which again, I'm so grateful for. The movie revolves around these 5 teenagers who actually look like teenagers. Go figure, right? Who work in this movie theater, and they happen to unearth this movie, which unleashes a succubus, a sex demon in other words, and chaos ensues. Part of what makes this movie work so well for me is that the context it exists in. It takes place in the early 1990s, and in a town which is very Christian, which is to say they don't swear, they don't do lots of things other people do. And so the sex demon angle comes up and it just knocks that whole idea on its head. Now the movie is obviously talking about judging people based upon their sexual preference or the way they look and that type of thing. It's a commentary on that. It's a commentary on denying who you are. It's a commentary on low-grade religious persecution. It talks about a lot of things, but puts them in this envelope of these young people being attacked by a succubus. It is hilarious. This movie, for me, is a prime example of why I consider there are different types of violence in movies. For instance, most horror movies tend to have cartoon violence. Sure, there's gore, sure, there's all kinds of terrible things done to the human body, but it's silly, it's cartoony, and as a result, it's sometimes really hilarious. Porno does that a lot. So there is some serious gore in this movie, especially if you're a guy. I'm going to go no further than that. Though it's so interesting to watch because it's so over the top and it's so silly that it's enjoyable. It's fun. I genuinely laughed a lot at this movie. And the gore only adds to the humor because it is so ridiculous. It is fascinating. I love this movie. Is it a perfect movie? Is it a great movie? No, it is not. But it is incredibly watchable. It's fun. It's interesting. It has a point of view, which I believe. And I really think people should see this movie, particularly if you're of the intolerant mindset, who believe that people should do whatever to fit in whichever clique or group that you happen to support. Watch Porno. It's just awesome. And by the way, what I also really liked about this movie is that for a movie named Porno, it starts appropriately. Porno is an awesome movie. It's a lot of fun. It's well acted. It's interesting. And it's not preachy. Despite having very real things to say about sexuality, very real things to say about religious intolerance, it doesn't preach to you because the director as well as the writers apparently have enough faith in the material that it doesn't need to do that. So what do you think? This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and Review. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know down below. And as usual, consider a like or a follow.